Jerry, can you tell us the top three ways people here in Wyoming can protect their wealth and digital assets?
Absolutely. So, one of the main ways, and probably the cheapest way to protect your digital asset, is to transfer it into an LLC. When you transfer it to an LLC, you create what is the separation of personal property and business property. And so, if there's any adverse claims against either one, that is protected. Another way to protect your digital asset is a little more expensive, and that's creating what is called an irrevocable trust. That way, it's protected from creditors also and any types of judgments. And another way to protect your digital asset is through our custodial services in the state of Wyoming, where you can transfer those assets to a bank. And upon receiving those assets as a transferee, you're subject to the liens cleansing laws under the state of Wyoming.
And when you say transfer a digital asset to a bank, are you meaning in the traditional sense, like you walk your digital asset down to the bank? And what kind of bank are you talking about?
So we have the special purpose depository institutions here in Wyoming, so called SPDIs for short, and you could transfer those to one of those types of banks, and they can custody your assets here in the state of Wyoming.
What is an asset protection trust and who needs them?
So an asset protection trust is an irrevocable trust that allows a grantor, that is the creator of the trust, to transfer assets into the trust in what is called a complete gift setting. And that allows them to not be the owner of those assets anymore. And actually, the trust becomes the owner, and that allows them to separate their liability from any type of judgments against them.
Since the trust then takes possession and owns the digital asset, would the grantor still have the ability to access those digital assets?
The grantor will not have the ability to access the digital assets unless he has the consent of the beneficiaries to get access to those assets.
What is the most important thing for somebody in the state of Wyoming to know about an asset protection trust?
So an asset protection trust allows a grantor to shift his income tax bracket to the trust. And so if it's an irrevocable trust, the trust becomes its own tax-paying entity. And if the grantor contributes assets to that trust, then the trust would pay taxes on any profits and income that is generated by that trust. And if the grantor lives in a high state income tax, then he doesn't have to shoulder that burden of those taxes. It's already covered by the trust, which in Wyoming, we have zero state income tax. So